are live. Is your mic live? Is it working?
This guy's drinking beer.
I know, it kind of looks that way.
What's going on over there?
Oh, you know, I gotta relax. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. That's when you're supposed to have beer, isn't
Hey,
it?
why not? Relax a little bit.
For those who don't know, Brandon and Carl, Follow the Money Investor Group, FTMIG, live on the Midas Letter Network.
Yep.
What a week. What a week we have started. I mean, I've been waiting for this. You've been waiting for this. The summer was so dull. I kept watching my money go, go, go. Then I finally pulled a lot of it off and just put it on the sidelines, which is the smart way to do that. And it's going.
And then you were a genius and you bought Tilray at like 30 bucks.
I did not. Okay, are we starting with that then?
Well, it's at 227 last
We're
week.
starting with that.
Yeah.
Before I say anything else, I want to say, great management, great company. They're going to be really great in this industry. Great, 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 great. Who is buying it at $220 though? Who? I mean,
a lot of people.
You need to really look at this. It IPO'd at $20. What are some of the stats? As of yesterday, it was more valuable than 23 of the Fortune 500 companies with $28 million in annual revenue. That's it. They had something like a $20 billion market cap. Where'd they come from? How's this happening? It is ludicrous. So I really just say, again, I think it's going to be an awesome company, and they very well may be going into that type of valuation in the very near future. I think they're led by a great team, and they got some really great deals. But if you're buying, if you're on the bid, just be very, very careful. I just don't see how it's more valuable than Macy's, when Macy's has been around since the early 1900s and has over $20 billion in revenue a year. How is it more valuable, market cap-wise?
I have no argument.
It's crazy.
A little bit of apple and orange there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's worth
apple and orange for sure. We're just going on values.
It's worth more than Canopy right now.
Yeah, somebody was telling me actually. So we had one of our traders in our community. Where are they at, yo? Because I can say that because it's not his real name. I was looking into it though and realized that almost 75% of the share is locked up with privateer holdings.
Yeah.
And that's
big
significant.
Money,
man. So they had 9 million, I believe 9 million shares go and start trading publicly. That's an incredibly tight float, and they've been able to just soar that. We're going to read a book about this one day. I mean, good on them.
Do you want to know the value of the dollars that have been traded today?
What is it?
Almost $4 billion.
$4 billion is traded.
That's what it's saying here. Value.
That is
3.94 billion.
That's insane. That's crazy. And the fact that those shares are going to come unlocked one day, and they've now made billions of dollars. So again, to that management team, that's a fantastic job. You should be patting yourself on the back even while you're sleeping. Fantastic job. For retail investors, for people listening to this, just be careful. Be careful on the bid. I believe it's a game of the greater fool, where it's you're buying it, hoping it goes up so you can sell it for more. So it's almost like a hot potato of who's going to be the fool to be held with the bag.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with that, because I promise you, even them, they're thinking to themselves, wow, I didn't even expect this. Even though I think they're going to be a great company.
Well, I remember people were saying, it was overvalued at 30.
Yeah.
So.
I know. One of my friends, I think he got the IPO and he sold it for like $40. Like, I made it double. And then you're looking at it now like, oh my, what did I do?
Yeah.
Who could foresee this though? But not just that, not just Tilray, a lot of things are flying today. Cantab, Pill, they're up 25%. I'm now only down about 90% off of that 200 to 1 rollback. You've got all of the MJ fund in the States. That is sitting at an all-time high. For anybody who forgot about the MJ fund, HMMJ, Aurora, and Canopy, those were the indicators for cannabis for a very long time. I still think they are. Where MJ fund is American, although it has a lot of LPs in it. A lot of Americans I spoke to look at the MG fund for weakness and for strength. So if you actually go to Stockwatch and you go MG fund, Stockwatch, you'll see the MJ fund go up and down. There were times where you could put the MJ fund, HMMJ, which is the what's it called, Horizons, Aurora, and Canopy, and their charts looked almost identical, because these large funds are latching to it. And I think it's also to do with trading bots as well, where if it hits a certain point, you sell, and all those different aspects, different algorithms. to see those up that much, 9.93% for MJ Fund, 4.83% for HMMJ, and for this, and for even for Seed, up 7%. Cannabis is flying right now.
Did you sell anything today?
Today, no. Today I've done no buying and selling. We get too busy here. So for the first 10 minutes before this, I'm like, okay, what's everything doing? Because we've been so busy getting the show together. But yesterday I made a few sells. We were with Juju. I did sell some of my Juju yesterday when I saw some weakness in the bid and I saw the asks stacking. I think it's going to be still another great company, but they're due for a pullback. There was a great run that they had, and I think they're going to continue running. So let's see about that. I haven't looked into an entry point yet, but I want back in. And DNAX.
Yeah,
Blockstrain.
I own that. Yeah.
I sold Blockstrain. It's up 18%. That's how it goes, folks. The second you sell something, Shiragas, but I made a good percentage gain off of that. But it's been crazy. It's been an amazing day today. A bunch of different things, but it's just been crazy for the cannabis world.
Yeah,
mining.
It's on fire.
Are we waiting for something today? We're waiting for something today for mining, or tomorrow, or the next day, or sometime this week.
Waiting for a Garibaldi NR.
Garibaldi.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been probably the most anticipated assay results, definitely this year. I don't know if it's arguable to say for quite some time, but everyone and their brother and their cousin and their dog are waiting for that news release to come out. What do you think it's going to do? Well, prediction time. You got to choose.
Yeah,
you can't go on the fence.
I think it's going to be good news. I can't predict what the market's going to react, how it's going to react. You know.
Yeah.
It does have a healthy market cap. The market is saying, hey, there might be something big here. Yeah. So if the news is subpar, you could see a sell-off. But I'm expecting good news. I'm not going to predict what the stock price is going to do. Yeah. But the haters are out. The naysayers are out.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And GGI is actually up 4% on the day, so somewhat near its day high. And CCW, one that we've been covering a lot as well, a cobalt play. I love that Re2Ox technology there. It's really interesting to see what goes on there. They're up 13% today, back to 60 cents.
You know what? My cousin bought into that yesterday at like 51 cents. So
51 cents.
Good for him. He's up.
Nice.
His first stock ever.
And off 300,000 revenue volume, that's actually pretty decent for what they usually trade at. That's not like it's made this way off of like 10,000 or 20,000. That's actually a decent trading day for that.
Yeah.
So CCW is up as well. And I don't think we should really wait. I think we should just go right into the video because we speak about CCW, we speak about Garibaldi, and a few others that I think people should really think about as well, with Eric from Gold Investment.
Great interview.
Newsletter. Crazy information that was in there. He's really knowledgeable. I really enjoyed that talk. Why don't we go to now while we continue to see what Garibaldi is doing for the rest of the day?
Sure.
We'll go over now. And our next guest is Eric Yashinsky of Gold Investment Letter, joining us from the Skype universe. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, Brendan. How are you?
You know what? The markets are finally starting to move after a really slow summer for a lot of people. It's been a lot of fun watching them. And you know what? I can't complain right now. It's going well so far.
Good.
Now, tell us about yourself. You work with Gold Investment Letter, and you've been working with them for some time. Can you give, for our viewers who may not be aware of you, your background and who it is or what it is that you do?
Yeah, I started the first of all, I was a broker in the U.S. for 15 years since I was 21 years old. In 2001, I branched off and became an entrepreneur and gave up 6 licenses and managing money for a career. I launched the Gold Investment Letter the top month of the gold bull market in the fall of 2011. And I really love this space. I also have another newsletter, Elite Investments, which is sector agnostic. But I've basically built up a nice following over the course of the last 6-7 years. We have different tiers of membership in terms of I have an elite group that all high net worth individuals. We finance a lot of juniors in the $500,000 to $2 million range. And then I have, a good number of premium subscribers as well as over 10,000 free subscribers on the Gold Investment Letter itself. And so I like to find, basically produce alpha. We look for juniors that are either undiscovered or they're coming into a discovery cycle, or my favorite, when they're just dirt cheap like they are today. So I'm an entrepreneur at this point. I do some other things as well. First and foremost, I'm an investor, and I share my ideas with my readers.
And that resonates very much so with Karl and myself, especially Karl. Karl, I think you've always said that. You know, we love doing this show. We love talking to different people, but first and foremost, you're an investor. So perfect words.
Eric, let's talk about GGI and your thoughts on GGI and MTS, actually.
Yeah, you know, I mean, listen, it's this has been actually, it's easy to lose perspective, right? We got involved in GGI and MTS. I'm a subscriber also with one of your previous guests at Bull Market Run. I found the deals back when they started covering them at, you know, pennies. Excuse me. And so I put out an initial premium recommendation on Midas, specifically at 25 cents a share last August. Stock went up 11x in 3 months. You know, Garibaldi was an absolute beast, going from pennies to $5 a share. And we're also in a seasonal area in the Golden Triangle that has very long winters. So, you know, it was very natural what's happened, which is the retracements, the quiet period as everybody gears up. I think what's happened now is like we're on the precipice of hours to days of the first release from Garibaldi to kick off what they've started with the season. But a lot of people are getting a little nervous because, you know, they started in June and here we are in September, and it's like, you know, where are the first assays? I put out a note on this a week ago regarding some of my thoughts around what happened there. And I believe they had delay. I do believe that there were some logistical issues with the drillers specifically that caused the delay. I don't think it has anything to do with they've basically been scrambling to try to find some more high grade. I'm very confident that out of the gate, especially after hole 17, with what they left us with last season, they're going to come out with some very, very nice intercepts. The key here is going to be proving tonnage. Everybody knows that, but you know, this could be a world-class discovery, and we just don't know until we get more information this season from Garibaldi. I've actually made a bigger bet on Midas simply because of a couple of reasons. I believe that this structure clearly goes down into the Kirkham property from the south of Nickel Mountain. In fact, I mean, I've heard that recently Garibaldi, as of even this past week, is drilling less than 200 meters away from Kirkham. They've been moving in that direction, and Midas has got 15% of the market cap of Garibaldi. So they've also got some really interesting, big potential porphyry targets for copper gold in the south. But really the key to me is to trade alongside of Garibaldi and show that they can hit this high-grade nickel copper, and have some of that same system with Garibaldi. If they show that this season, it's game over for Midas, and I think that valuation gap will basically it will tighten because Garibaldi will probably buy them out. They're going to trade together. Midas has got to prove that they've got the nickel there, but it's all about Garibaldi at this point. They're going to set the tone, and I hope that they're going to set it. If not tomorrow, they have obviously a pattern of releasing news on Friday. I would expect on Friday at latest that we're going to see what's going on.
I think that was well said. If we're just talking Garibaldi from current market cap, do we need a 30-40 meter hit of massive sulfides to go up, or could we have smaller pods with, you know, a bunch of high grade disseminated to move this market cap up?
I mean, it's a good question, and we don't know how a lot of these stocks are going to react, whether we think the results are good or not. I mean, you look at something like GT Gold and the way that stock's been reacting after they came out with massive, intercepts, really good grades, and the stock continued to sell off on the news. So I think that with Garibaldi, there are going to be smaller pods. I think that the way that this is set up, from what I understand from Dr. Lightfoot and some of the other research, you really don't need these massive, it's not going to be like a gold porphyry target where you can see this massive, huge conductor and everything is going to be directly connected. You're going to have some pockets and different multiple layers. I as I think Peter Lightfoot called it, a magma highway. That's going to mean that there are some intermittent blobs of this very high grade stuff. And so they need to show that connectivity, but I don't know exactly what they're doing out of the gate. They kind of surprised us last season in terms of where they went with the drill rig. So let's see where they even target it. I believe they would start right after hole 14 initially and stay in the same area and hit a low risk, really good hole again. But who knows? They might know a lot that we don't, and surprise us with something that is a little bit off the beaten path that gets people excited.
Yeah, and that's something that's actually very interesting. The fact that no one really knows. I mean, you look at Garibaldi last year. Things came out, and people, and it was a euphoria, and everyone was going. This year, it is hush. Nobody really knows. Is that a bad thing? Because it's so hushed, it's like, oh no, we didn't get it, we need to go find somewhere else. That could be an option, and you can never rule that out. Or is it, no, we're gonna blow everyone's mind away when we finally come out with these results? I don't want to say it's a coin toss. That'd be too much up to chance. But it's interesting that there are no leaks, especially when you start talking to people who are actually well connected in the industry.
Eric?
My guess is that it's somewhere in the middle of those two scenarios. We tend to think that there's some conspiracy, when there's this silence, or that there's this master plan, or that it's an absolute disaster. And the truth is going to be somewhere in the middle. And we're going to find out soon.
Yeah.
Eric, have you seen any of Brent Cook's comments?
I've heard about him, yes. He made some last year, and I heard recently at some conferences as well, pretty, very negative comments. I don't know if I've heard all of them, though.
He's basically calling Garibaldi a scam. I hold the stock, so I don't want to hear that. But,
yeah.
But him and Warren are coming out, and they're being definitely bearish right now. It looks like he sold most of his free trading shares, if you take him for his word. Have you seen his comments of late? Warren Irwin?
You're talking about Warren Irwin?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two very different situations. First of all, with Brent Cook, who's a geologist, who's not involved in the deal, I think it's extremely inappropriate to call this deal a scam. It's not a scam. I mean, they might not have what everybody's hoping they have, but there's no doubt it's not a scam. You don't make comments like that with deals that, you're not even involved in unless you're very sure that that's the case. That could be very damaging for him, or maybe he's going to end up, becoming the hero, but I highly, highly doubt that. And there's really no upside for him to say something so extreme when it's really clearly not the case. You have guys like Peter Lightfoot that I would put against Brent Cook on nickel sulfide deposits any day of the year. And, Peter's pretty confident that they've got something special. So saying it's a scam, it's actually pretty stupid. I don't see what the upside is for him. And as far as I've seen the comments, from Warren Irwin. I mean, he's a very smart fund manager. I believe that he got involved in the $3 and change placement with Sprott last year. And so I think he's got a point, in terms of this, in terms of saying the logical conclusion would be that if they've said nothing for 3 months, nothing was leaked, they haven't, come out with core photos or something, I would be skewed towards being very skeptical as well. And so he basically took advantage of that rally. I don't know if he sold all of his free trading shares or he just sold off a portion of it or what. But I think if I recall correctly, Warren was very miffed after the initial results started to come out from Garibaldi. It was things like the location maps and stuff like that, and he was very dismayed. And then his opinion changed as more information came out, and he became very bullish again. So any of us can have certain thoughts that we act on. That's our job as speculators, investors. He runs other people's money. He can't be, going crazy if he sees that there might be some risk or his instinct is telling him that. I hope that he's proved wrong in terms of the short-term sentiment. And it seems like from the comments that I was forwarded that he's open-minded to that being the case. But, that's why I put out that note last week about, what's the delay, Garibaldi? This is ridiculous. But again, I think it was because of a delay, and also that the truth is not that there's a master plan to come out with this crazy promotion that that, you know, wows everybody, and also not that they've just been striking a bunch of mud. The truth is going to be somewhere in the middle, and I'm really excited to see what it is, but everybody's got our opinions. The bets are on the table, and we're going to find out who's right and who's wrong. Probably we're going to start to figure out who's right and who's wrong within 48 hours.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. You know, it's funny because last year people talked about how promotional they were, and there was leaks, and now this year you have none of that, and you can't make people happy. So we'll definitely figure this out soon enough.
Well, it's a good point that you make as well, though, and the fact that you have to understand he's a fund manager. You know, I'm going to take a different risk if I'm with using someone else's money and lots of other people's money. And it's like you said, you know, if there is a delay and all that, and you have a little bit of a doubt, maybe you pull some of that off the table. Whereas for me as a speculator, I know the money that I'm using for this. I trade within my means. I got my things locked and loaded. I'm expecting great.
We're just on you guys right now because we have to figure out what's going on with that.
Okay. Well, that's one of the things that happens when you go live and still
We're
working
live?
out bugs. Oh, we're live. How you
All right.
doing?
I'm staring at a level 2 right now.
I was staring at you.
I thought I had like 15 minutes to start doing some stuff here.
I was staring at you, and all of a sudden they said we're live. But you know what? We'll work with it. We'll work with it.
More beer.
Yeah, more beer. That actually is apple juice for anyone who thinks I'm an alcoholic at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
What do you want to talk about? I'm staring at RNX right now.
I'm staring at Facebook. We'll go. RNX, actually, what's that doing? That was ripping earlier.
Yeah, it's pulled back a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you've got those things. So, and that's one of the things. It's so important to have L2. I don't know if we can get this up here. I think it's they're rebooting that system that puts our computers up there. But to have level 2, to have the ability to see all the bids and all the asks, you don't see it on the dark pool and stuff. I think people can still hide it. You see most.
Yeah.
It's night and day for how you can invest.
It's like being naked.
Okay. Do go on. What's that analogy?
Well, you need it. Like I have to have it, right?
You have to be naked. I love it. Love it. But no, it's a.
Ed's walking by right now.
Hey, Sir Ed.
How you doing, guys?
But yeah, no. If you can't see it though, a lot of the times you'll hear people, especially the newer investors, they'll say, "What's resistance? What are these guys talking about a wall? Why is there an iceberg out there? It's not the Titanic."
Yeah.
You know, it's really important because you can actually see. So, and a great example, PREV, PREV. It had a TA breakout yesterday. Just like Johnny Mack was saying to us earlier, where you get a Bollinger Band squeeze and you see the candle blow through the Bollinger Bands on high volume. It's exactly what happened, and you're watching it, and the bids really started stacking on it.
Yeah.
Well, at one point, like, okay, this is a bid. So I slapped the ask and I went into it. And I didn't know if it was going to be a trade or investment yet. I was just waiting. But then if you're watching L2, you could start seeing
some rent money.
Yeah, get some. Actually, it was a 25% return in a couple
Oh
hours.
boy.
Hey, random high fives on networks. Why not?
Yeah.
But no, it's nice. You could see the weakness in the bids. I saw the asks stacking, and you were able to like, okay, you know what, this isn't working today, and you go out 25% in an hour.
So you killed it.
Yep, I killed it. I killed the trade. I killed a few trades actually, but that's more personal. I needed some cash, like you said, to prepare for downtown living, Toronto. It's the city of many things,
So
one of which being very high rent.
Brandon's moving downtown.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know, it's going to be an interesting, but...
Maybe you'll meet someone special.
Here we go. I already have.
Have you?
I already have, yeah, sitting in front of me.
Okay.
No,
All right,
this is
cheers to
actually his
that.
beer. We've been lying the whole time. But
So Warren Irwin had some comments about Garibaldi.
He did.
He said he sold all his free trading shares.
Yep.
And I've done a little bit of research, and it seems like he's sitting in a net positive position. So remember, he's using other people's money.
Yeah.
He's a hedge fund guy. He's smart. So I think he's probably sitting on free warrants and risk-free warrants, I should say. and he probably wants to see what's going to happen here, what the news is going to be.
Yeah.
You can't blame the guy for that, right? He can't take the same risk as you and I.
No, we
and
can't.
I think people are reading into his comments a little bit. You know, you got to tone it down right now. People are getting a little bit emotional, and you know, oftentimes when that happens, it's usually because you've gone in too deep. You've put in, you know, X amount of money, you know, that you're sitting there and you're getting nervous, right? Not the ideal situation. I mean, look, this thing could have a good news release and it sells off and goes to $1.50. And it doesn't mean it won't go up to 5 or 6 or 7 or 20 or whatever people are throwing out there.
Yeah.
You know, but it could be very volatile, right? So you got to be prepared for that.
Absolutely. And I believe he was just about to say it in our interview with Eric, or it'll be afterwards, where we actually brought that question up to him. And you know, we both made a good point with speaking about Irwin. You know, he's the fund manager, and he's got other people's money that he's working with. It's not like you and I. I know my
Different
money
risk.
in there.
Yeah.
I know my risk. I'm willing to risk my money at a different level than, say, my brother or another friend or anybody in that matter. It's different. So I'm still very bullish. We saw the technical breakdown from Johnny Mack the other week. The consolidation on the weekly over the last year or so, and it's going to break one of those directions. And
it's going to break, man.
Strong.
And we have news. We know, like, Garibaldi came out on Friday with a news release and basically, you know, put everyone on notice. Like, hey, we're going to show you guys what we're working with, and we're all looking forward to it. And it's tense, man. You've got the, you know, these guys. Some people are saying this is a big promotional thing.
Yeah.
And I've asked them to come on. Like, I actually extended an invite today to Warren, and we talked briefly through email. And he said, "Listen, I don't want to get into it with these, with the Vancouver hype machine, basically." And I can't blame him for that. And then, you know, other people that we've had on, they don't want to address certain comments from like a Brent Cook. So nobody really wants to get into a you know, a pissing match. But you've got the Bulls and the Bears, and that's what makes a market.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of retailers right now that are sitting in the stock, and they're nervous.
No, absolutely. And just addressing a few people on our Facebook page here, FTMIG Facebook Live, or FTMIG Live. They were talking about poor sound for a second there. It's because we just had a mini malfunction of the video that was going before, so they had to get that all figured out.
So we're on the same stream, but the video, the pre-record was poo.
Yeah, so halfway through it started
that was a great interview too.
It was fantastic. I really hope that we can be putting it right where we left off and keep going, because he was great. Him and John were awesome to talk to.
If you're watching right now, just Skype in. We'll bring you on live right now. I swear, why not? We'll bring Eric back in live.
We'll have to run
that
and
guy's
get
awesome.
earpieces to put in, but why not? Why not? But it was awesome. It was fantastic, because he was really breaking down a few things. We went from speaking about Garibaldi and nickel to speaking about cobalt and CCW, because we wanted another opinion on it.
He loves it.
John.
Yep.
But then we went into gold. And he was actually almost more bullish about gold than everything else, especially the longer term. Yeah, well, exactly. And it's true what he was saying. You know, gold in right now, I think, what did he say, it was around 1,100 or so?
I think it's hovering around there, yeah.
Yeah,
1,200,
and he made a bold prediction in the next few years. It's going to test its recent high and go into the high 2,000s, even the 3,000s, I think he said. I think it's like 3,200.
Yeah, well, a lot of things are setting up for the gold peeps, right?
Yeah.
We've had a very, very long bullish run here in the market, so.
And what happens when the markets start crashing? Where do people put their money? Bonds and gold. Put it where it's safer. I don't think I'm ever going to be a bond guy. I think that's mostly
Bitcoin? Not Bitcoin?
I can't take. So here, we'll go on this rant.
Okay.
I love blockchain. I love it. I'm an economist through and through. I studied finance and economics. If you look up the money supply, what's the money supply and how it affects your economy, and how your money supply is a tool that governments use to control their currency, control exchange rates, control inflation. If you take out of that and you adopt, to say, all Bitcoin, you've lost your ability, or a huge tool to fight inflation and to control your exchange rate and all of that. How could you possibly have the way that we see economics now? It would not work unless those Bitcoins or something like that was pinned to a precious metal or the US dollar or something like that. I just don't see that happening right now. I can hear Magus right now though going crazy.
No, Magus is not. No, Magus doesn't like Bitcoin.
No, he doesn't, but he knows that sooner or later crypto is going to be tied to something. It's going to have an anchor.
I like blockchain. Anchor. I think blockchain fixes world issues like inventories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never got into the cryptocurrency stuff.
No problem. Well, hey, you've got 10 minutes to think of that as well, because we are actually going to reboot so we can get that interview up. It was amazing. I want it up. We're going to reboot the system very quickly. Go grab a apple juice. Is that what we're saying this is, right?
It's beer, man.
An apple juice. And we'll see you back in about 5 or 10 minutes.
All right.